Hello, Josie Wells here and welcome to this combat mission Red Thunder After Action Report. This is my first ever Red Thunder After Action Report and only the third time I've played this game. My previous two games were multiplayer games against Meat Eater from the Few Good Men forums, and in both of those games I was annihilated quite early on, and neither of them would have made particularly good after action reports. So I thought I'd take a step back from multiplayer and gently dip my toe into this game with a single player scenario, and this is the scenario Getting Ugly. As this is my first public showcase of Red Thunder on my channel, I am of course playing as the Soviets. The mission is to cross the river and liberate the villages of Chernevka and Ugly. I get 50 points for clearing Chernevka, 150 points for clearing Ugly, and 300 points for destroying the German forces present. Reconnaissance reports a German infantry company with armoured support is in the area. The enemy will be defending Ugly on the far bank of the river with a screening force in Chernevka. The terrain is mainly farmland consisting of fields, farmhouses and barns. The river creates a shallow valley between the two villages. There is good observation from Chernevka across the river to Ugly. Similarly, the Germans can cover Chernevka from Ugly. On my right flank is a hill which gives some observation across the valley, but there is significant obstruction by trees. There are dozens of village houses, farmhouses and barns dotted all over the map, which give concealment and some cover to infantry against small arms. There are a couple of ditches on the map, one near my start position and one on my right flank which runs towards the river. These ditches provide excellent cover and concealment for the infantry. There are a few small lightly wooded areas and an orchard on the map. These provide good concealment and some light cover. The river is the dominating feature of the map. It runs north to south and separates the two villages. There is one bridge which crosses the river near the centre and three fords along the southern half of the river. The ground near the banks of the river is very boggy and it will be very hard going for the infantry to cross and impossible for vehicles. For the most part the ditches are an obstacle for vehicles, however there appear to be some points where they are shallow enough to cross. I have identified 4 pieces of key terrain on this map. KT1 is the northern end of Chernevka. A sturdy stone farmhouse offers good observation across the river and provides cover and concealment. KT2 is the hill on my right flank which provides some observation into some areas of Ugly. KT3 is the southern end of Ugly which gives the Germans good observation into Chernevka and provides them with cover and concealment. And similarly KT4 gives the Germans observation into Chernevka and hill KT2. The initial avenue of approach will take up about 50% of the width of the map for the attack on Chernevka. From there the infantry frontage will expand across the width of the map for the advance on Ugly, whilst the armour will need to cross at the bridge as it is the only suitable crossing point for them. This attack involves about half of 1st Battalion of the 459th Rifle Division. At the start of the battle I have 1st Company consisting of 3 rifle platoons and an anti-tank platoon armed with the PTRD AT rifle. The company also has 1 Maxim heavy machine gun and 1 sniper. The battalion mortars have supplied 1 platoon of on-map 82mm mortars, and 9th Company of the 2nd Tank Regiment have supplied 2 platoons of T-34s with the 76mm gun. One thing I do need to get used to is the small platoon size of the Soviet armoured formations, with a Soviet platoon roughly equal to a US section and a company roughly equal to a US platoon. With the tanks comes a platoon of mounted tank infantry. In addition to the troops currently formed up, in 20 minutes I will receive access to another platoon of 82mm mortars from the mortar company. These will be off map. In 30 minutes a company of ISU 122 assault guns will arrive, and in 40 minutes another rifle company will deploy on the field. It's the 24th of June 1944, the second day of Operation Bagration. The time is 15:35 hours. I have 2 hours to complete the mission. It's overcast but warm, the ground is dry and the wind is gentle from the northeast. The squad leader of 3rd Squad 1st Platoon crawls forward to get eyes out to the west. The tank commander of 2nd Platoon looks on. The squad leader's reconnaissance comes under MG fire from somewhere along the eastern end of Chernevka. The likely location is a 2-storey timber house, so one of the tanks moves up to send a couple of HE rounds over. There's no way of knowing what's out there, so shoot and scoot is the name of the game. As the tank pulls back, an enemy mortar spotting round lands nearby. For the price of 3 dead riflemen, I know that the enemy has positions at the eastern end of Chernevka, with machine guns and mortars covering the ridge to my immediate front. As the mortars come in, the company scatters. If the company can't go over the ridge, they'll have to go around it. A team from 3rd Platoon move into the ditch on the right flank. The rest of the platoon soon follow. They move across the ditch into a small woodland and cautiously approach a farmstead. With the infantry across the ditch, 1st Tank Platoon also try and find a way across it. Niet problem. As 3rd Platoon reach the edge of the woods, they get eyes on the eastern end of Chernevka. Area fire is used on likely enemy positions. A scout team approaches the farmstead on the right flank. It turns out to be clear, and with the right flank secure, the rest of 3rd Platoon start to move forwards. Supported by the tanks of 1st Platoon. Strategic Update 1. 15:52 hours, 17 minutes into battle. Zooming in and looking west. 3rd Platoon are leading the advance with 1st Tank Platoon in support. There has been some incoming machine gun fire and mortars from somewhere around the southeastern end of Chernevka, although nothing has yet been spotted. The farmstead on my right flank has been cleared, allowing 3rd Platoon to advance. For completeness of the situation, I am showing the woods, the ditch and the ridgeline mentioned so far. As a result of the incoming fire when probing over the ridgeline, my force has shifted into the centre. This has meant a slower but more concealed advance towards Chernevka. The plan now is to attack the northeastern end of Chernevka on a more narrow front than originally intended, and then move south through the village. Ideally, I want to be able to manoeuvre up to this line before advancing into the western end of Chernevka and securing this objective. Scouts are sent forward, and my off-map mortar reinforcements become available. As the tanks shell possible enemy positions, German infantry are sighted pulling back from the southeastern end of Chernevka. MG fire from the west. Behind the scouts, the rest of the squads move up. As the scouts progress through the northeastern end of Chernevka, all seems quiet, allowing movement to speed up. However, the peace and quiet doesn't last. Two scouts entering the second story of one of the village houses spot an advancing Stug platoon coming from KT-1. And the Stugs aren't alone. First tank platoon move up. The German mortar spotting round lands too close for comfort. The Stugs stop just short of a slight crest, but their infantry continues to advance. The AT rifles are brought up. But more importantly, the company of ISU 122 assault guns arrive just in time to help engage the Stugs. They are immediately moved up to the front. As the enemy mortar barrage comes in. The Stugs are eliminated, but the infantry still presents a threat. However, with their armour support gone, it's just a matter of time. And 1st Company can move further into the east end of Chernevka. Strategic Update 2. 16:11 hours, 36 minutes into battle. Zooming in looking west, we can see the advance on Chernevka. 3rd Platoon are on the left flank of the advance, with 2nd Platoon on the right. The Assault Gun Company have lost one vehicle to a damn Panzerfaust, and 1st Tank Platoon have lost one T-34. The anti-tank squad were too late to take part in the engagement with the Stugs, but I'm hoping they will still have some use later in the battle. Just out of shot, 1st Platoon of the Infantry Company, the Tank Descent Platoon and 2nd Platoon of T-34s are being kept in reserve. And the on-map Mortar Platoon are still back in the setup zone. The German counter-attack came from the northwestern end of Chernevka near KT-1. The 3 Stugs were destroyed and the infantry then mopped up, but not before they'd destroyed one ISU 122 and one T-34. Whilst this was going on, 3rd Platoon moved southwards through the east end of Chernevka with no resistance. However, German infantry were spotted a while ago in the area shown. I plan to use 1st Platoon and 2nd Tank Platoon, which are currently in reserve, to perform a pincer attack with 3rd Platoon on the Germans in that location. I'll also shift some assault guns to provide additional firepower. Whilst this is going on, scouts will be sent towards KT1. From their rear position, 1st Platoon move up to begin their assault, accompanied by the 2 T-34s of 2nd Tank Platoon. As they do so, 3rd Platoon edge towards the German contacts at the southeast end of Chernevka and stumble into a forward position. Fire superiority is quickly achieved, allowing for manoeuvre and then the assault. The position is overrun and pushed through. From Chernevka, German transport vehicles can be seen in Ugly. And at the northern end of Ugly, a Panther platoon is spotted advancing. After taking care of the assault gun, the Panthers continued to move southwards through Ugly. On the right flank, 2nd Platoon scouts approached the farmstead at KT1. The farmstead appears unoccupied, but as a precaution, area fire is sprayed into suspect locations as the rest of the platoon move up. On the left flank, 1st Platoon move up to probe the suspected German positions in the southeast end of Chernevka, whilst 3rd Platoon suppress the nearby buildings. It's not long before the Germans reveal themselves. The Germans are holed up in two two-storey buildings on the left flank. After a fierce firefight, the houses are cleared. Back across the river, the Panther platoon moves towards the bridge. And unexpectedly and alarmingly crosses it. Two of the ISU 122s are moved over to the right flank to try and intercept their advance. At the rear, 2nd Rifle Company of 1st Battalion arrive. Strategic Update 3. 16:31 hours, 56 minutes into battle. Zooming in and looking west, the newly arrived 2nd Rifle Company in their column of trucks. To their left is the on-map mortar platoon. In front of them are the tank descent platoon, and they're still being kept in reserve at this point. Moving forwards to get a better view of the front line, we can see the disposition of 1st Company, with 1st Platoon on the far left, 3rd Platoon to their right, with 2nd Tank Platoon in support. 2nd Platoon have moved into KT1 and the northwestern part of Chernevka. The 2 remaining tanks of 1st Tank Platoon are supporting them. 2 of the assault guns have moved over to the right flank to counter the Panther threat. The remaining operational assault gun is centre right. The anti-tank rifles have been split up to better support the rifle platoons. The attack on the left flank went well, with 1st and 3rd Platoon taking the German positions with some help from the armour. 2nd Platoon scouted out KT1 and then moved the rest of the platoon up to encroach into the northeast of Chernevka. The Panthers are very close to 2nd Platoon. We can zoom out a bit to see their route through Ugly and across the road bridge. The 2 assault guns on the right flank manoeuvred into a good keyhole position and managed to eliminate 1 of the 5 Panthers. There is a gentle ridgeline between the Panthers and the rest of my armour. However, it isn't yet clear as to what's the best plan of action to eliminate the threat. I could try and find more keyhole positions and snipe at the Panthers, but the T-34 is unlikely to do well toe-to-toe against them, and the assault guns are hampered by their lack of a turret. I also don't know what the Panthers' intent is. Are they going to sit where they are and prevent me from moving forwards? Are they going to launch a direct assault onto KT1? Or are they going to fan out into Chernevka? Whatever they do, it's going to be a knife fight, and that makes this situation very unpredictable and very dangerous. The Panthers decide for me and launch an assault on KT1. The 2nd Platoon troops out in the field desperately try and find concealment. Unable to find adequate cover, the squads of 2nd Platoon hide in the grass and hope for the best. But more than hope was needed. Within seconds of cresting the ridgeline, the Panther Platoon has destroyed 1 T-34 and set another ablaze, while 2nd Platoon are getting ripped to shreds. Am I staring defeat in the face, or can I rally my remaining anti-tank assets to blunt the Panther onslaught? This is getting ugly in more ways than one. Stay tuned for part 2.